what is Java? Here Java is nothing but the coffee beans name. Suppose if I consider C program, after compiling the C program, what I'm going to get? I'm going to get the object code. Whatever the object code I'm going to get, that is varies from one processor to another processor. Hello, hi, namaste. A warm welcome to my new session on object-oriented programming using Java. And the chapter name is Java Evolution. I am Revati, faculty, Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. In my today's session, at the beginning, I'm going to deal with Java evolution. Then I'm going to deal with the features of Java. Along with that, I'm going to deal with the difference between the C and C++ programming. Moving further, at the beginning, I'm going to have Java evolution. So what is Java evolution and how the Java is evaluated? So here the Java is evaluated in the year 1991 by Sun Microsystem of USA. Then what is the first name of Java? That is OAC. Initially, the Java programs were introduced or identified by the name OAC in the year 1991 by Sun Microsystem. And who developed this programming language? That is nothing but James Gosling. And in the year 1995, the OAC is renamed by the name Java. So that is in the year 1995, the OAC is renamed by the programming language name Java. Then what is Java? Here Java is nothing but the coffee beans name. Because of that, what's the logo for Java programming? That is, we can able to find the coffee mug. Now, the Java programs comes under Oracle Corporation, and the programming language OAC is renamed by the Java in the year 1991 by Oracle Corporation. Then the main goal of developing Java is to make the language simple, portable and highly reliable. So these are the features of Java programs. Then another most important features of Java is platform neutral language. So these are the features of Java program. Anyway, I'm going to explain these features in depth. So here the Java programs were introduced in the year 1991 by the Sun Microsystem, and this is the example for object-oriented programming language. And this is the example for high-level programming language. Moving further, I'm going to have the features of Java. So what is the feature here? Here features are nothing but the characteristics of Java, and because of these characteristics of Java, the Java is different from all the other programming language. Then what is the first feature I'm going to have here is Java is compiled and Java is interpreted. That means here the Java codes are compiled, then the same compiled codes are interpreted. That means during the compilation. So what is compilation here? That means translating the Java code into some other form. That means during the compilation, the compiler translates Java source code into the bytecode. So here, because of bytecode, Java is different. Suppose if I consider C program, after compiling the C program, what I'm going to get? I'm going to get the object code. But in Java programming, after compilation, what I'm going to get? I'm going to get the bytecode, and these bytecodes are executed by Java virtual machine. So this is the one of the important features of Java. Then Java is once again interpreted language. Now tell me why I required interpreter here, because whatever the bytecode I'm going to get, that is not the machine instruction. Now I want to convert bytecode into machine instruction. That time I required Java interpreter. So what is the job of the Java interpreter here? It is going to generate machine code that can be directly executed by the machine. So here, after compilation, I'm going to get the bytecode, but bytecodes are not machine code. Here, machines are capable to understand machine code. Now, I want to convert that into machine code. So, what I'm going to do? I'm going to use the Java interpreter. Then, what is the job of the Java interpreter? It is going to convert the bytecode into the machine code that can be directly executed by any machine that is running the Java program. And to execute bytecode, we required Java virtual machine. Anyway, in my future classes, I'm going to deal with what is Java virtual machine. Moving further, I'm going to have another very important feature, that is platform independent and portable. So what is platform independent? That means whatever the Java program we are going to have, that is capable to run on any machine. That means that is not dependent on any platform or machine. So Java program can be easily moved from one computer system to another, anywhere and anytime. So here Java program is also called platform neutral programming language. Suppose if I consider C or C++ program, after the compilation, I'm going to get the object code, and whatever the object code I'm going to get, that is machine dependent. And I cannot able to run that machine dependent code into some other platform. So what I want to do here, I want to make this small modification, then only I can able to run that code. But it is not same in the case of Java, because here Java is platform independent. That means after compiling, I'm going to get the bytecode, and to run bytecode, I required Java virtual machine. So here Java programming languages are platform independent and it is portable. That means you can able to adapt from one machine to another machine very easily. So Java guarantees portable in two ways, that is Java compiler generates bytecode instruction that can be implemented on any machine, and the size of the primitive data types are machine independent. That means in Java programming language, whatever the primitive data types we are going to have that is completely machine independent. So what are the primitive data type we are going to have in general? That is int, float, character, etc. And the size of those primitive data types are machine independent. So this is the one of the very important feature of Java. So what is the feature here? That is platform independent. To illustrate this feature, I'm going to consider one simple example that I'm going to write C program to add two numbers. So this is my program. Now, after compiling this program, what I'm going to get? I'm going to get the object code. And whatever the object code I'm going to get, that is varies from one processor to another processor. Think that I'm going to have two different types of processor. One is Intel and another one AMD processor. Now, first I'm going to write the add function or add program to Intel processor and I'm going to get the object code. At the beginning, what I'm going to do, I'm going to write the add program to Intel processor and I'm going to compile those program. Then I'm going to get the object code. And whatever the object code I'm going to get for the Intel processor, that is completely different from AMD processor, because here C programs are machine dependent programming language. That means suppose if I want to run same program in my AMD processor, what I want to do, I want to make a smaller modification in order to run my add program. So this is the difference between C programming language and Java programming language. That means if I return same program by using Java programming language, I'm going to get the bytecode and I can able to run that bytecode in any machine or in any platform without any modification. So because of this nature, Java is called platform independent programming language. Moving further, I'm going to have another very important feature called object-oriented. So what is object? Here objects are nothing but the real world entity, and in the Java programming language, everything are treated as objects. It may be a data type, it may be a function, everything are treated as objects. Consider the example that I have defined the data type float number. So here the float and numbers both are called objects. That means the number is the instance of float. In Java programming language, everything are treated as object. So here everything in Java is an object. All the program codes and data resides within the objects and classes. That means whatever the data I'm going to have, that is written inside the objects as well as classes. Then the objects in a Java is simple. That means to creating objects in Java program is very easy and very simple, and it is possible to extend the object. So in Java programming language, everything are treated as object, and this is the one of the very important feature of Java programming language. Moving further, I'm going to have robust and secure. Now tell me how I can define Java as robust, because here Java supports error checking in two ways. So here Java is robust programming language. It provides many safeguards. It provides many safeguards in the sense it is going to have strict compile time and runtime checking for data types. That means whatever the errors, whatever the data we are going to have, that must be checked twice in the Java programming language. That is at the time of compilation and at the time of runtime, you're going to have error checking as well as data checking. And Java also includes the concept of exception handling. That means suppose if you want to handle any kind of errors in the Java programming language, we are going to have the concept called exception handling. So what is exception here? Exception is nothing but the error handling. To handle the errors, we are going to have the exception handling. That means it is possible to catch the error, at the same time it is possible to throw the error. So these are the very important features of Java programming language. So Java is robust and secure. Moving further, I am going to have another feature called distributed. Dear student, just remember that here the Java programs are especially designed for internet. So here we are going to have another feature, that is distributed. So what is distributed? Here distributed is nothing but the process of running the program in different platform or in the different place. That means the works are distributed between the many platform or many user. So Java is designed as a distributed language for creating application on network that has the ability to share both data as well as programs. That means using Java programming language, you can able to distribute the work with the many platforms simultaneously. So, and Java application can open and access remote object. That means the Java programs are designed in such a way that it can be able to access and open any remote object which is placed on the internet. Because of these features, Java is called distributed. That means you can able to distribute the work among various platforms simultaneously. Moving further, I'm going to have another feature, that is simple, small and familiar. Here the Java programming language is very simple and very small and very familiar language, because you already studied C++ programming language. Then what is C++? Here C++ is the example for object-oriented programming language, and we are going to adopt most of the features from C++ programming language. So Java is simple and small language. Many features of C and C++ that are either redundant or source of unreliable code are not part of Java. That means Java is going to include some of the features of C++ and it's not going to include some of the features of C++ as well as C. And it is a familiar in the sense Most of the Java programs are look like C or C++. That means all the Java programs are written and modeled in the form of C and C++ programming language. Because of this nature, the Java is simple, small and familiar. Moving further, I'm going to have the another feature that is multi-threaded and interactive. So what is multi-thread? Here Java supports very important concept called multi-thread. That means it is possible to perform or carried out multiple tasks simultaneously that can be achieved with the help of multi-threaded in the Java program. Here Java supports multi-threaded programs which is handling multiple tasks at once. That means Java programs are capable to handle multiple tasks simultaneously. Multi-threaded features greatly improves the interactive performance of graphical application. That means suppose if you want to improve and enhance the graphical applications of Java, then we can use the multi-thread. That means by using multi-thread, we can able to improve and enhance the interactive performance of graphical application. And Java runtime comes with the tool that supports multi-process synchronization. That means in Java, we are going to have the synchronization concept. That means you can able to synchronize the execution of two process or two program. To achieve that, we are going to have the concept called synchronization in our Java programming language, and it allows to construct smoothly running interactive systems. So these are the another feature of Java programming. Then we are going to have high performance. This is the another characteristics of Java programming language. Then how to justify Java provides high performance? Because here we are going to have so here I'm going to have just in time compiler. Because of this nature, Java is different from some other programming language like C and C++. Because of just in time compiler, Java provides high performance. Java performance is impressive for an interpreted language mainly due to the use of intermediate bytecode. That means after the compilation, we are going to get the bytecode, and this bytecode is given to the interpreter, and interpreter is responsible for translating bytecode to the machine code. So here the bytecode is nothing but the intermediate code, and this is given to the interpreter. So here interpreted language, that means Java is also called interpreted language. And Java architecture is also designed to reduce the overhead during runtime. That means the Java architectures are designed in such a way that you can able to modify your program during the runtime. That means Java is responsible for adopting the changes during the runtime. Because of that, Java gives high performance comparing to other programming language. So these are the some of the very important features of Java. And from the examination point of view, the features of Java is very important, and you can expect one question from this topic. Moving further, I'm going to have how the Java is differ from C and C++. Anyway, these two are also the example for programming language. Here, C is example for structured programming language, and this is the example for high level programming language. Whereas once again C++ is example for high level programming language and it is object oriented programming language. Whereas Java is also a high level programming language and example for object oriented programming language. Now I want to differentiate how Java and C programs are different each other and how the Java and C++ programs were differ each other. Now I want to differentiate how the Java and C programs were differ each other and how the Java and C++ programs were differ each other. At the beginning, I'm going to have Java and C program. So what I'm going to have? I'm going to have Java and C program. Here, Java does not include the C unique statement keywords like size of and type def. So what is size of and what is type def? Suppose if I want to get the size, then I'm going to have the keyword called size of in C program. Think that I have defined int a. Now I want to know the size of a. So what I will do? I'm going to pass the variable a and I want to get the size of a. To that I'm going to have the keyword called size of, and this size of key is not in the Java programming language. And what is type def? Suppose if I want to define my own data type, then I can able to use the word type def. That means by using type def keyword, I can able to define my own data type. But in Java, we don't have type def keyword. So what are the two different keywords are not supported by the Java? That is size of and type def. But C programming language supports size of keyword as well as type def keyword. Then what is another difference I'm going to have here? That is Java does not contain the data type like struct and union. Now tell me what is the use of struct keyword and what is the use of union keyword in the C programming language. So here these are the two keywords is mainly used to define user defined data types. I repeat, these are the two keywords used to define the user defined data types in C program. But in Java, we are not going to have any such kind of keywords like struct and union. That means here Java does not support struct and union keyword. Then what is the another difference I'm going to have? That is Java does not define the type modifier keywords. So what are the type modifier keywords I'm going to have? That is auto, extern, register and signed and unsigned. So here I'm going to have the certain type modifier, that is auto, extern, register, signed and unsigned. These are the keywords supported by the C program. But Java does not support these keywords because what is auto here? That means, so these are the data types supported by the C programming language. And by default, what is the data type supported by the C programming language? That is auto. And what is extern? So here extern is nothing but the global variable declaration. Suppose if you want to declare your variable globally, then you can use the word extern in the C programming language. And what is register? Suppose if you want to store your values in the register, that time you can able to use the word register. And you can able to use the data types like signed for signed number representation and unsigned for unsigned number representation. So these are the certain type of modifier keywords are supported by the C programming language and it is not supported by the Java programming language. Then Java does not support explicit pointer type. That means in C program we can able to write the pointer with the help of star. That means I can able to specify the pointer with the help of asterisk symbol. But these kind of representations were not supported by the Java program. That means Java does not support an explicit pointer type. Then what is the another difference I'm going to have? That is Java does not have a preprocessor. If I consider C programming language, I'm going to have certain preprocessors and I'm going to have certain header files. I'm going to include those header files and preprocessors in my program according to the program's need. But in Java, we are not going to have any preprocessors like hash define, hash include or hash if def statement. So Java does not support hash define function or hash include or hash if def. So these three are the preprocessor and it is supported by the C programming language, but it's not supported by the Java programming language. Moving further, we are going to have another difference that Java requires that functions with no argument must be declared. That means if I consider functions, I'm going to have the function with argument and without argument. And if I'm going to write the function without argument in my C program, what I want to do? I want to indicate that I'm going to write the function without argument that can be illustrated with the help of void. So void means what? It does not have any argument. Suppose if I'm going to write same function in Java program, what I want to do? I'm going to write as it is. So I'm going to use the empty parenthesis. That means I'm not going to specify any return value or any argument. So this is in my C program and this is in my Java program. That means suppose if I want to write the function without argument, that should be written like this in the C program. That means I'm going to write the function name and I'm going to specify void. So what is void here? That is, there is no argument. Then what about in Java program? Once again, I'm going to write the function name. What's the function name I'm going to have here? That is add function name, and I'm going to write the empty parenthesis. So this is the another difference between Java as well as your C program. And Java adds new operators such as instance of and this symbol. Anyway, I'll be explaining these concepts in depth in my future class. And Java adds labeled break and continue statement. That means Java supports, you can able to add labeled break and continue statement in the program, and along with that Java adds many features required for object-oriented programming. Anyway, I'll be dealing these 3 points in my future class. Moving further, I'm going to have the difference between Java and C++. So here Java does not support operator overloading. So what is operator overloading? In C++, we can able to change the meaning of the operator. So what are the different kinds of operator I'm going to have there? That is, I'm going to have plus, minus. So these are the operator I can able to overload in the C++ programming language. That means I'm going to change the meaning of these operator. But Java does not support operator overloading. Then Java does not have template class as in C++. That means by using C++, we can able to construct our own template class. But in Java, we cannot have the concept called template class. Then Java does not support multiple inheritance of class. So we are familiar with the word inheritance. So what is inheritance? That is nothing but the reusability. That means suppose if I want to reuse the same code again and again, then I'm going to have the concept called inheritance in C++ programming as well as Java programming. But C++ programming supports multiple inheritance, but Java does not support multiple inheritance. Now, consider this example. These are my subclass, and suppose if I want to reuse the resources of this subclass, then I can able to have the derived class. So this is my subclass 1, subclass 2 and subclass 3. And this is my derived class. So I can able to reuse the resources of subclass, that is subclass 1, subclass 2, subclass 3 in derived class. So this kind of inheritance is not supported by the Java programming language. And to support this kind of interface, that is multiple inheritance in the Java program, we are going to have the concept called interface, and I'm going to implement those interface. So I'm going to have the concept interface and implements. Then Java does not support global variable declaration. That means in C++ programming language, I can able to define the variables globally. But in Java, we are not going to define any variable globally. That means we are going to define all the variables and methods within the class, and it forms the part of the class. But in C++, I'm going to have the global variable declaration. That means I can able to define the variables above the main function. So this is the another difference between Java and C++. Then I'm going to have Java does not use pointer. That means in Java programming language, we are not going to have the concept called pointer. And Java has replaced the destructor function with finalize function. Suppose if I'm going to consider C++ programming language, then I'm going to have the constructor. Why I required constructor? To initialize the object, and to de-initialize the object, what I required? Once again, I required destructor. But in Java, we are not going to have the concept called destructor, and this destructor is replaced with the function called finalize. That means if I want to make use of destructor in Java, what I'm going to use? I'm going to use the function called finalize. That means with the help of finalize, I can able to deallocate the object or de-initialize the object. Then in Java, we are not going to have any header files. So these are the very important difference between C and C++ and Java, because all the programming languages looks like similar, but there is a small difference between C and Java or C++ and Java. So dear student, in my today's session, we started with evaluation of Java. Then we had discussion regarding the features of Java. Then we had discussion regarding how the Java programming language is different from C, and how the Java programming language is different from C++ programming language. Dear students, in my next session, I'm going to deal with Java and Internet. Along with that, I'm going to discuss Java and World Wide Web. Along with that, I'm going to discuss web browsers and Java environment. Thank you for watching my session. Let's meet in the next session. Until then, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.